Hello, and welcome back to 3 Lessons from Breakthrough Leaders. I'm Bart Sale, founder of Breakthrough Global, and today I'm here with Justine Kane, our Chief of Staff at Breakthrough.
Hello, everyone.
And this podcast is all about giving you insider tips and the know-how from the world's foremost leaders and creative talents, distilling their knowledge and experience into 3 lessons, which we guarantee will help you and your companies to unleash their potential.
Today, we're thrilled to welcome Gilles Morel to the podcast. Gilles is a global business leader with a wealth of experience across top-tier organizations. He previously served as EVP at Whirlpool Corporation and regional president at Mars, leading strategic growth and transformation initiatives. Now he leverages his expertise as a board member, strategic advisor, investor, and mentor.
Welcome, Gilles.
Hello, Bart.
This is really great for me because we go back several years, and it's wonderful now after that time to see you again. How I'd like to start off is, if you could give us an overview of your leadership journey.
Yes, Bart. So thanks a lot for the opportunity. I have great memories of the time we had together, and that has been part of my leadership journey. I started as a graduate trainee, but rapidly I embarked on a global and international career because that was embracing both aspects of the business and the people. That's what drove me, and I had this role, and I love it.
Lesson 1. Growing an effective team.
Back 15 years ago, 16 years ago, I was becoming the leader of such general managers. And something, the kickoff really where your team, Bart, and you personally helped equip me with different tools to make a difference as a leader. For the last 10 years, I've very consciously organized my time, 50% on growing a better business and 50% on growing people, talent, teams, and this included myself as well. So this has been reflecting on my agenda, on my routine, on my meetings, on all of this. This purpose is still there, and my commitment to people is there. So I'm, as a non-executive, as a mentor and coach, I'm investing in this. I want to keep doing this and helping others to build effective teams and keep bringing light in the soul of people and teams.
That's so inspiring, that phrase, bringing light into the soul of people
really
and
is.
teams.
Really is.
Wonderful.
I also believe that when it's critical, building an effective team is an aftercare, is an everyday, and needs to be embedded in everyday routine of a leadership team. Mm-hmm. Because otherwise, this is going to disappear. You'll get everyone pumps up the great emotion, but this vision, this team purpose, the protocol you decide, the tools you have maybe tested in this kind of event, you need to bring them to life in every day. And that's why I do believe it needs to be reflected in your routines, it needs to be reflected in your protocol, in the language of a business, of a team.
That makes so much sense, Gilles. And it's really interesting how you, your protocol of each of the different places that you've gone to, that you've kind of rolled it out. And I guess it would be interesting to understand a little bit about the breakthrough tools that you've used, or the tools that you have used that have been really useful in that process.
So yes, I think you in your other podcasts, you talk a lot about playbooks and strategy and this. I do believe there are playbooks as well for team effectiveness, for engagement, and maybe they are not as popular. We don't have the other big consulting company. They are more boutique or as this, but I think we have playbook for team engagement, and some of the tools are absolutely critical. So personally, I've embedded in all my business the breakthrough feedback framework. I find it very very effective, what is working, what's not working yet, what is missing, what is possible, because it's enable everyone to be heard. It enable everyone to commit afterwards as well. It creates space. It's very effective because you have to give your 2-3 most critical input. You trust the collective intelligence of the team, and it opens possibilities. I've also, some of the language, the tool of power time, the language of the passenger on an effective team. So I also, one tool that I found, and it's not always very easy to execute that. This one is not breakthrough, but in my leadership team, Mars Chocolate, I had, let's call her Amanda. She was not HR, but she was procurement, but she was a passionate facilitator. So, that's also in the team. Everyone played different roles independently of their function. And she trained us on the Fist to 5, and I found it very powerful. 4 and 5, it's for decision making. 4 to 5, I'm a line, move on. 3, you have to say why you're on 3 and what you need to get to a 4 to a 5. If you are 0, no go, 1 and 2, it's not enough to say I disagree. You need to come with a counter proposal. I find it very effective. All the things as well I've put in place. And, when Bart did an event, there was never a pre-read.
So one thing that occurs to me when you say that is that if we look at other areas, such as the military or athletics or even performance, such as, ballet and theatre and so on, so much time is spent rehearsal. It's rehearsal and it's practice and so on. Whereas in business, teams they're on the court all the time. They have very little time for rehearsal. They're always performing in a sense. So the idea that you can just do a one-off session and then your team is effective, that just doesn't work. Your team needs to be reignited, regenerated, energized constantly.
No, I absolutely agree. And very often we delegate this warm-up to consultants, and that's wrong. It must be owned by the team. That's why the check-in is important. That's why, the protocol of the team, when you have, having each other's back in a team is absolutely critical. And it's a practice of every single day.
I really like Gilles' approach, where he spends 50% of his time on growing the business and 50% of his time on growing the people. That's a far greater percentage than I've met in the past. And you can see from his results that it works. He also said that as a leader, he embeds team effectiveness into the daily operations through practices such as the breakthrough feedback frame and specific sessions where they work solely on the team effectiveness. So these tools ensure that time is not wasted, that meetings and interactions are focused, decisions are well informed, and teams remain aligned and engaged. Time is well spent, time is not wasted.
Yes, that's super interesting part of what Gilles was commenting on. And I loved how he reverts to playbooks. And by using this approach, it really supports all learning styles, kinesthetic learning, visual, auditory, which means that it's bringing out the best in your teams and it works for everyone's different styles.
So, as a leader, ask yourself, what am I prioritizing in building and growing my team's effectiveness? And what tools am I using? What tools am I not using that I could now put into action? And the best way is to just start small and just keep monitoring it and then add more and more. Lesson 2, navigating challenges that are out of your control.
Well, with the best intentions, things just don't always work out, do they? So I think it would be interesting to hear some stories that you might have that are reflective of that.
Well, when I joined Whirlpool 6 years ago, it was after a painful integration of two European businesses, and I was in charge of making a turnaround. And yes, it has been very, very hard, but after 18 months, 2 years, we regained scale and were on the path of profitable growth. I had done the kickoff event, and that was great. Then we had to navigate through COVID, and through COVID, we kept protocols of team effectiveness. We kept contracting. We did things virtually, but we kept this discipline. And then came the war in Ukraine and the sanction on Russia, and the fact that when you sell washing machine, you have to buy steel, you have to buy electronics, you have to buy plastics, and as a US-based company and with European leaders and executive, rapidly I realized that we had to exit, and we exited Russia. We sold the business, and that created a change, because the profitable path for growth with Russia, that was a significant, one of the core priority markets in terms of top line, but also a key contributor, changed the game completely. And this at the time of very high cost inflation on energy, on steel, and so on. So the path has changed, and we did what is called a strategic review. I had to propose to the board a different continuation scenario, and we had to consider other options for ownership of this business. And the vision, was a bit clouded. When your business, let's call it as it was, is potentially for sale, how you engage the team. And when you don't have all the answers on the what, because you on your organization, yes, you keep focus on your brand, on your innovation, and this, but you don't know which flag or logo will be on the top of the building in 18 months from now. There is one thing you can own, you can always own, is how you do business. That's why with my team we decided to keep and double the effort on I was at this moment, I attended an event with a leader, Natalie. You worked with her as well in the different contexts. With Natalie Roos, yeah. And with somebody who worked on the concept of a mission impossible. And I said, well, it resonated very much. We embarked and we articulated what is at stake for us. What is our mission impossible? We rename it our mission impossible, not impossible, impossible.
Like that.
And we focus very much on, what is success looks like for our people, our organization. We also said that at the end of the day, yes, we want to be the best place to invest for our shareholders. So, yes, okay, we are for sale. The one who will buy us with the one who will be the most interested, or the one, and that was our responsibility. Mm-hmm. So this time, despite the clouds of the strategic review, focus on making sure that people didn't forget that what matters, we were there towards the life of the consumer. Independently of the flag on the building. We were there to be an attractive place to invest, and we hope to attract the best investor possible. And that's how we have done it, centered on our consumers, on our customers, and the shareholders. And then we even did a campaign, so that we did with the extended leadership. So we had this kind of event. It was critical that we made everyone shine. So we even had during this time a campaign, "We Shine," so our people. I do believe, we could be victim, we could act a victim, and that's something also. When with Peter Block, I worked on my purpose. I also believe on the freedom, confronting with your freedom. You are free. You are free, independent. So we chose that to drive it the way we could and embed this in our organization. Yes, on the what, it was not exactly the plan, but you cannot be victim of the external event. There are things, as a leader, you need to be humble, not be the victim of the external environment, but do whatever and matters really, what is in your hands. And very often, all the how in your hand, and a big part of the what then becomes also in your hands. Setting yourself free is actually critical, and in organization, yes, we have a tendency to look too much up for permission and this, and the freedom is in us, is only in us, in ourselves.
I really loved what Gilles referred to when he said in challenging times, when you don't have the what, you can always focus on the how. So no one can, play to being a victim to external events. It's important to be humble and to focus on what is within your control that you can really impact. And that leads on perfectly to of the whole podcast, which is him talking about challenging directly, but care personally. So it's always looking at how to progress and push things forward from an individual and organizational level, but implementing the care element of people individually and personally is how you're really going to get alignment and engagement throughout. So that the challenge directly, but care personally is hugely relevant.
Yes, Justine. And now more than ever, times are challenging for everybody. And they're going to get more challenging, not less. So we need to become masters of uncertainty. We need to be able to navigate ourselves through those challenges, which are uncertain, but also many of which are out of our direct control. And given that, how can we take ourselves and our team and our company into a place where we can still be effective, where we can still focus on things that will make a difference, where we can still bring clarity and reduce the ambiguity? Lesson 3, a map for your leadership journey. You've said so much that I'd love to unpack. And I do remember with the work we did with pet care, that when we started that, I think the division was known as pet foods. And one of the big shifts that came, not just from the program, but at that time, links with something you were saying, that actually a big shift for people working in there, particularly in that program, was shifting from pet food to pet care. And everything around that just shifted the distinction, and particularly that it's not just looking after pets, it's actually looking after their owners as well. Do you remember that? Absolutely.
No, that's so from a business strategy point of view, it's a fantastic example of S-curve. When you change, you move from food to care, and you do the thing. But if we go back to leadership, what is key in creating an effective team, and I'm not talking only the executive team. I'm talking of we were not only the executive. It was the top 70. This was extended leadership, and then this was absolutely to have a shared vision. I think it's critical. It's the starting point. It's far from enough. But without a shared vision, which is exciting, when everyone can relate to personally, when also disconnect with your personal purpose as well, that's create a fantastic power. And then you can mobilize the organization. Each team can define its purpose and how it contributes to this vision, contract, and you can do beautiful miracles when you're set up like that.
So, Gilles, you've had an extraordinary career, a successful career, and you've really helped us looking back on that. Some of our listeners out there are just on the start of their journey into leadership, into their purpose. How would you advise them? What advice would you give to some of the young leaders who are listening to this?
So to really, I don't like, you make me feel so old when you ask me to be old, and I don't like this. And I'm here, I'm to bring light in the soul of people. It doesn't mean I have the light. I want the light to bring from within the people. So the first thing is, I would say, is to dare. When you are young, you dare. You are free. That's absolutely critical. And dare to try the things and find out what resonates with you, what gives you energy. And then you might call it a purpose at some stage. It took me a long time, and I hope people find it faster. But, when you find it, it sticks to you. It sticks, and it sticks for me for 15 years. And it's a reminder, it's an alarm. So, but just being conscious, aware, what brings you energy, where you can make the difference, what is, that's, and build on this. The second thing is build on your strengths and develop your strengths. This is not new. Peter Drucker did it about effective executive. To be effective, make strengths productive. It should be the unique purpose of the organization. But I've seen so much in organization and a development plan being, this is your weakness, how you fix it. And I remember when I was in my career, Gilles, you have never managed anyone at the beginning. Of course, I was young. I could have managed. And it was like a weakness. No, look at the strengths of the people. And that's absolutely critical. And you don't need 10 strengths. I've been lucky to have this cocktail of stimulation back 15 years ago. One of the things was an article as well in HBR from Zenger and Folkman about, and it was make yourself indispensable. I don't like it. I took it as a provocation because I do believe nobody is indispensable, especially in business. But really, it was articulating that to be a leader, to be in the top 64% leader, you need one towering strength, something you do better than anyone else. One. If you have 5, you are on the top 10% of the leaders. So focus on your strengths. It doesn't mean doing every time what you do, but you develop what they call companion behavior or complementary behaviors that make these strengths, elevate these strengths. If you have the 80%, you make them to 90%, but be better on what you are good. That's what I would say. And also work on this, be aware of what the organization needs. Be aware of the impact you have on people, what your team needs, and work. It must be, it's a person, your energy is a role, what you need to grow, and it is also the organization, what is needed, and how you be more effective in the organization. But by experience, the ROI of transforming weakness in a strength is very, very low. So that's what I would encourage people working on their strengths and making it, really like a proper training, a proper development. It doesn't mean you are strong. You need to develop complementary behaviors that will help you to make those strengths work and have the biggest impact possible in the organization.
Gilles' philosophy is that as a leader, it's about bringing light to the soul of people, helping them to see their purpose and their potential so that we can move forward together. For him, great leadership goes beyond managing teams. It's about inspiring them with a shared vision and a clear sense of purpose. And then he gives us the steps to build our own map of our leadership journey.
So to build your own map in your journey, the steps were quite clear. So 1, try things to find out what resonates, to dare. I love that expression that he used, to dare, and figure out what resonates and what sticks. And then the next point he talks about, what brings you energy, what excites you, what brings you light. And then following on to, where can you make a difference in an organization, but also in the world? What difference can you bring? The next point being, focus on what your strengths are. So cherish your strengths. So understanding your strengths and your weaknesses, develop and elevate these strengths, be better and be good, and constantly work on this. But it's also a process that you can help your teams and other people that you work with. And the map that he's provided, I think, is a fantastic tool to be able to do this.
I'd love to hear more about Habit for Humanity. I think that's something that's pretty dear to you.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk about Habitat for Humanity. Beside the corporate life and linked to it, bringing light in the soul of people and or improving life at home, which is the overall purpose of Whirlpool. I have had the chance to work together with Habitat for Humanity, which is an NGO which promote affordable and sustainable living across the world. Of course, in Africa, in countries in need, but also in Europe, with refugees who have been in camp, helping them to find permanent housing, especially in Europe, where we have a lot of empty spaces. So, yeah, this is an organization help, and here there as well. I'm leading the development council. And here as well, we had to apply some of the things. So assemble, having the right people, because before team effectiveness, you need to make sure the base of trust is competency and having the role. So having the right people around the table, agreeing on, what our purpose, why we are together as a development council, and how we're going to operate and support each other. So I really believe the language of team effectiveness, and this applies not only in corporate life, but also in any kind of organization. And at least this is a value that I could bring from my leadership experience to the NGO world. I got a lot from my experience. I received a lot. I had to give a bit of back from this point of view as well. Yes.
I was going to say, if any of our listeners want to find out more about that, Gilles?
Yes, so you can Google Habitat for Humanity, and you will find the page, and you can either volunteer, you can make donation, and either general or targeted, feel free. There is need for help. Having a proper house is a safe house, a sustainable house. This is the base for life.
It's a foundation that's needed, isn't it? Really great. Thank you so much for that. We have now entered the hot seat questions part of the podcast. Are you ready?
Shoot.
Okay. So, question 1. What is the most exciting thing that you've ever done?
You asked me a lot of business questions, but you have to know that I'm the father of 6 kids, and now so far the grandfather of 1 so far.
Congratulations!
So the most exciting thing I've done is having and contributed to raising kids. It's for me that has been a gift in my life. It's magical.
Amazing, and 6 is no small order. Next question: what inspires you in life?
Being surprised by the creativity of human beings who surround me, at work, at home, while traveling. So that's my extroverted people side. I'm curious. I love it. But honestly, as well, the beauty and the connection with nature. A morning coffee, looking at the sunrise, at the surrounding mountains, the blue sky and snow, the inner peace and the excitement of going up there, that's also very special. A bit more selfish, but very special.
Oh, I completely agree. Finish the sentence. Success is ...
Yeah. So this one you send me in advance. Thank you, because So for me, success is to love people for who they are and be loved for who you are.
Simple but profound.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, it's been such a pleasure connecting again, Gilles.
Some real gems in there too. Some really
Beautiful.
great insights.
You're a
Really
poet.
great
You're
insight.
a poet,
Yeah.
Gilles.
Thank you.
You are. You've got some great poetic phrases there.
Okay, thank you. No, it's a pleasure. And I don't know if we'll have other opportunities, don't hesitate. I would be very happy to help anyway.
And we too, particularly with your Habitat for Humanity.
Okay, thanks a lot. Much appreciated.
And thank you to our great production team, Yulia Zhaltisova and Victoria Okarafor at Breakthrough Global, and Robin Leeburn at Fairley Media. And of course, thank you to our listeners.
For business inquiries, you can also reach us at contact@breakthroughglobal.com. Have a wonderful rest of the day.